Om Shri Sai Nathaya Namaha. Chapter 4. Sai Baba's First Advent in Shirdi. Mission of the Saints. Shirdi, a holy Tirth. Personality of Sai Baba. Dictum of Gauli Bua. Appearance of Vitthal. Kshir Sagar's story. Das Ganu's bath in Prayag. Immaculate Conception of Sai Baba and his first advent in Shirdi. 3 Vadas. In the last chapter, I described the circumstances which led me to write Sai Sachcharita. Let me now describe the first advent of Sai Baba in Shirdi. Mission of the Saints. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that whenever there is a decay of dharma, that means righteousness, and an ascendancy of unrighteousness, I manifest myself for the protection of the virtuous and the destruction of the vicious and for the establishment of righteousness. I manifest myself age after age. This is the mission of Lord and the sages and saints, who are His representatives and who appear at appropriate times, help in their own way to fulfill that mission. For instance, when the twice born, that is, the Brahmins, the Kshatriyas and the Vaishyas neglect their duties, and when the Shudras try to usurp the rights of the higher classes, when spiritual preceptors are not respected but humiliated, when nobody cares for religious instructions, when everybody thinks himself very learned, when people begin to partake of forbidden foods and intoxicating drinks, when under the cloak of religion people indulge in malpractices, when people belonging to different sects fight amongst themselves, when Brahmins fail to do Sandhya adoration, and the Orthodox leaves their religious practices, when yogis neglect their meditation, when people begin to think that wealth, progeny, wife are their sole concern, and thus turn away from the true path of salvation, then saints appear and try to set matters right by their words and action. They serve us as beacon lights and show us the right path and the right way for us to follow. In this way, many saints, namely Nivrutti, Jnandev, Muktabai, Namdev, Gora, Gonai, Eknath, Tukaram, Narhari, Narsibhai, Sajan Kasai, Savta, Ramdas and various others did appear at various times to show the right path to the people. And so, the present advent came as Shri Sai Baba of Shirdi. Shirdi, a holy Tirth. The banks of the Godavari river in Ahmednagar district are very fortunate, for they gave birth and refuge to many a saint, prominent amongst them being Jnaneshwar. Shirdi also falls in the Kopargaon Taluka of the Ahmednagar district. After crossing the Godavari river at Kopargaon, one gets the way to Shirdi. When you go 3 kos, that is approximately 9 miles, you come to Neemgaon, from where Shirdi is visible. Shirdi is a famous and well known as other holy places like Gangapur, Narsimhawadi, Audumbar on the banks of Krishna river. As the devotee, Damaji flourished in and blessed Mangalveda near Pandharpur, as Samarth Ramdas at Sajjangad, as Shri Narsimha Saraswati at Saraswati Wadi. So Sainath flourished at Shirdi and blessed it. Personality of Sai Baba. It is on account of Shri Sai Baba that Shirdi grew into importance. Let us see what sort of a personage Sai Baba was. He conquered this samsar that is worldly existence, which is very difficult and hard to cross. Peace or mental calm was his ornament, and he was the repository of wisdom. He was the home of Vaishnav devotees, most generous, like Karna. Amongst liberals, the quintessence of all essences. He had no love for perishable things and was always engrossed in self-realization, which was his sole concern. He felt no pleasure in the things of this world or of the world beyond. His antarang, heart, was as clear as a mirror, and his speech always rained nectar. The rich or poor people were the same to him. He did not know or care for honor or dishonor. He was the Lord of all beings. He spoke freely and mixed with all people, saw the actings and dances of nautch girls, and heard ghazal songs. Still, he swerved not an inch from samadhi, that is, mental equilibrium. The name of Allah was always on his lips. While the world awoke, he slept, and while the world slept, he was vigilant. His abdomen inside was as calm as the deep sea. His ashram could not be determined, nor his actions could be definitely determined. And though he sat in one place, he knew all the transactions of the world. His darbar was imposing. He told daily hundreds of stories. Still, he swerved not an inch from his vow of silence. He always leaned against the wall in the masjid or walked morning, noon and evening towards Lendi, means Nala, and Chavdi. Still, he at all times abided in the self. Though a siddha, he acted like a sadhaka. He was meek, humble and egoless and pleased all. Such was Sai Baba, and as the soil of Shirdi was trodden by Sai Baba's feet, it attained extraordinary importance. As Jnaneshwar elevated Alandi, Eknath did to Paithan, so Sai Baba raised Shirdi. Blessed are the grass leaves and stone of Shirdi, for they could easily kiss the holy feet of Sai Baba and take his dust on their head. Shirdi became to us devotees another Pandharpur, Jagannath, Dwarka, Banaras and Rameshwar, Badri Kedar, Nasik Trambakeshwar, Ujjain and Mahakaleshwar or Mahabaleshwar Gokarna. Contact of Sai Baba in Shirdi was like our Veda and Tantra. It quietened our sansara, means world consciousness, and rendered self-realization easy. The darshan of Sri Sai Baba was our yoga sadhana, and talk with him removed our sins. Shampooing his legs was our bath in Triveni Prayag, and drinking the holy water of his feet destroyed our desires and sins. To us, his commands were Vedas, and accepting that is eating his udi, that is sacred ashes, and prasad was all purifying. He was our Sri Krishna and Sri Rama, who gave us solace, and he was our Par Brahma, means absolute reality. He was himself beyond the pair of dvandvas, means opposite, never dejected nor elated. He was always engrossed in his self as existence, knowledge and bliss. Shirdi was his center, but his field of action extended far wide to Punjab, Calcutta, North India, Gujarat, Dhaka, now in Bangladesh, and Konkan. Thus the fame of Sai Baba spread far and wide, and people from all parts came to take his darshan and be blessed. By mere darshan, minds of people, whether pure or impure, would become quiet at once. They got here the same sort of unparalleled joy that devotees get at Pandharpur by seeing Vitthal Rakhumai. This is not an exaggeration. Consider what a devotee says in this respect. Dictum of Golibua. An old devotee by name Golibua, aged about 95 years, was a Varkari of Pandhari. He stayed for 8 months at Pandharpur and 4 months Ashadh to Kartik, that is July to November, on the banks of Ganges. He had a donkey with him for carrying his luggage and a disciple as his companion. Every year he made his wari or trip to Pandharpur and came to Shirdi to see Sai Baba, whom he loved most. He used to stare at Baba and say, "This is Pandharinath Vitthal incarnate, the merciful Lord of poor and helpless." This Golibua was an old devotee of Vithoba and had made many a trip to Pandhari, and he testified that Sai Baba was real Pandharinath. Vitthal himself appeared. Sai Baba was very fond of remembering and singing God's name. He always uttered Allah Malik, that is, God is Lord, and in his presence made others sing God's name continuously, day and night, for 7 days. This is called Naam Saptah. Once he asked Das Kanu Maharaj to do the Naam Saptah. He replied that he would do it, provided he was assured that Vitthal would appear at the end of the 7th day. Then Baba, placing his hand on his chest, assured him that certainly Vitthal would appear, but for that the devotee must be earnest and devout. The Dankpuri of Thakur, the Pandhari of Vitthal, the Dwarka Franchod is here in Shirdi. One need not go far out to see Dwarka. Will Vitthal come here from some outside place? He is here. Only when the devotee is bursting with love and devotion, Vitthal will manifest himself here. After the Saptah was over, Vitthal did manifest himself in the following manner. Kaka Sahib Dikshit was, as usual, sitting in meditation after the bath, and he saw Vitthal in a vision. When he went at noon for Baba's darshan, Baba asked him point blank, "Did Vitthal Patil come? Did you see him? He is a very truant fellow. Catch him firmly, otherwise he will escape if you be a little inattentive." This happened in the morning, and at noon there was another Vitthal darshan. One hawker from outside came there for selling 25 or 30 pictures of Vithoba. This picture exactly tallied with the figure that appeared in Kaka Sahib's vision. On seeing this and remembering Baba's words, Kaka Sahib Dikshit was much surprised and delighted. He bought one picture of Vithoba and placed it in his shrine for worship. Bhagwant Rao Ksheersagar's story. How fond was Baba for Vitthal worship was illustrated in Bhagwant Rao Ksheersagar's story. The father of Bhagwant Rao was a devotee of Vithoba and used to make waris, that is, annual trips to Pandharpur. He also had an image of Vithoba at home which he worshipped. After his death, the son stopped everything, the wari, the worship and Shraddha ceremony, etc. When Bhagwant Rao came to Shirdi, Baba, on remembering his father, at once said, "His father was my friend, so I dragged him here. He never offered Naivedya, and so he starved Vitthal and me. So I brought him here. I shall remonstrate him now and set him to worship." Das Ganu's bath in Prayag. The Hindus think that a bath in the holy teeth of Prayag, where the Ganga and Yamuna meet, is very meritorious, and thousands of pilgrims go there at periodical times to have the sacred bath there. Once Das Ganu thought that he should go to Prayag for a bath and came to Baba to get his permission for doing so. Baba replied to him, "It is not necessary to go so far. Our Prayag is here. Believe me." Then, wonder of wonders, when Das Ganu placed his head on Baba's feet, out came streams of Ganga Yamuna water from both the toes of Baba. Seeing this miracle, Das Ganu was overwhelmed with feelings of love and adoration and was full of tears. Inwardly, he felt inspired, and his speech burst forth into a song in praise of Baba and his Leelas. Immaculate Conception of Sai Baba and his first advent in Shirdi. Nobody knew the parents, birth or birthplace of Sai Baba. Many inquiries were made. Many questions were put to Baba and others regarding these. But no satisfactory answer or information has yet been obtained. Practically, we know nothing about these matters. Namdev and Kabir were not born like ordinary mortals. They were found as infants in mother of pearls. Namdev being found on the bank Bhimrathi river by Gonai, and Kabir on the bank Bhagirathi river by Tamal. Similar was the case with Sai Baba. He first manifested himself as a young lad of 16 under a neem tree in Shirdi for the sake of bhaktas. Even then, he seemed to be full of the knowledge of Brahma. He had no desire for worldly objects even in dream. He kicked out Maya, and Mukti, that is deliverance, was serving at his feet. One old woman of Shirdi, the mother of Nana Chobdar, described him thus: "This young lad, fair, smart and very handsome, was first seen under the neem tree, seated in an asan. The people of the village were wonderstruck to see such a young lad practicing hard penance, not minding heat and cold. By day he associated with none. By night he was afraid of nobody. People were wondering and asking from where this young chap had turned up. His form and features were so beautiful that a mere look endeared him to all. He went to nobody's door, always sat near the neem tree. Outwardly, he looked very young, but by his action, he was really a great soul. He was the embodiment of dispassion and was an enigma to all. One day, it so happened that God Khandoba possessed the body of some devotee, and people began to ask him, "Deva, you please inquire what blessed father's son is this lad, and from where did he come?" God Khandoba asked them to bring a pickaxe and dig in a particular place. When it was dug, bricks were found underneath a flat stone. When the stone was removed, a corridor led to a cellar where cow-mouth shaped structures, wooden boards, necklaces were seen. Khandoba said, "This lad practiced penance here for 12 years. Then the people began to question the lad about this. He put them off by telling them that it was his Guru's place, his holy Vatan, and requested them to guard it well. The people then closed the corridor as before. As Ashwatha and Audumbar trees are held sacred, Baba regarded this neem tree equally sacred and loved it most. Mahalsapati and other Shirdi devotees regard this site as the resting place, that is, Samadhi Sthan of Baba's Guru, and prostrate before it. Let's hear about the three Vadas. The site with the neem trees and surrounding space was bought by Mr. Hari Vinayak Sathe, and on this site a big building styled Satish Vada was erected. This Vada was the sole resting place for pilgrims who flocked there. A par platform was built round the neem tree and lofts with steps were constructed. Under the steps, there is a niche facing south and devotees sit on the par platform facing north. It is believed that he who burns incense there on Thursday and Friday evenings will by God's grace be happy. This Vada was old and dilapidated and needed repairs. The necessary repairs, additions and alterations have been made now by the Sansthan. Then, after some years, another Vada, Dikshit's Vada, was constructed. Kaka Sahib Dikshit, solicitor of Bombay, had gone to England. He had injured his leg by an accident there. The injury could not be got rid of by any means. Nana Sahib Chandorkar advised him to see Sai Baba. So, he saw Sai Baba in 1909 and requested him to cure the lameness of his mind rather than of his leg. He was so much pleased with the darshan of Sai Baba that he decided to reside in Shirdi. He built a Vada for himself and other devotees. The foundation of this building was laid on 10/12/1910. On this day, two other important events took place. First, Mr. Dada Sahib Khaparde was given permission to return home, and number two, the night aarti at the Chavdi was started. The Vada was completed and was inhabited on the Ram Navami day in 1911 with due rites and formalities. Then another Vada or palatial mansion was put up by the famous millionaire Mr. Booty of Nagpur. A lot of money was spent on this building, but it was all well utilized, as Sai Baba's body is resting in this Vada, which is now called the Samadhi Mandir. The site of this mandir formerly had a garden, which was watered and looked after by Baba. Three Vadas thus came up, where there was none formerly. Of these, Sathi's Vada was most useful to all in the early days. The story of garden, which was attended by Sai Baba with the help of Vaman Tatya, the temporary absence of Sai Baba from Shirdi, and his coming again to Shirdi with the marriage party of Chand Patil, the company of Devi Das, Janki Das and Gangagir, Baba's wrestling match with Mohiddin Tamboli, residing in the masjid, love of Mr. Dengle, and other devotees and other incidents will be described in the next chapter. Bow to Sri Sai. Peace be to all. Shri Sai Narayana Narayana Hari Hari.
Sachcharita.